like basketball, Tractor Supply, let me tell you something. Tractor Supply, okay, they know that a winning season takes practice. It does. Doing talk radio, it takes practice. Teamwork and a can-do attitude. Very, very important. And it's bracket challenge season. You smell that? That's bracket challenge season. It's in the air, literally everywhere, and you know what you need to do. Right? You need me to I'll tell you what to do, right? The Fox Sports Radio Bracket Challenge is live. We'll do it live. It is live right now, and be sure to complete your bracket. So here's what you do. You go to foxsportsradio.com. Do it right now. Go to foxsportsradio.com. The winning bracket in the Fox Sports Radio Bracket Challenge will win a $2,500 gift card from Tractor Supply. How cool is that? I love Tractor Supply. It's a great store to walk around in. Now, if you get a perfect bracket, now if you do that, you'll win $1 million. $1 million if you get a perfect bracket. Fill out your bracket. Do it right now. You have until Thursday morning before the first games begin on Thursday. Visit foxsportsradio.com. That's foxsportsradio.com. You got to register over there. You get all the rules, you get all those regulations, all that stuff at foxsports.com. Fill out your bracket. Check it all out. It's all sponsored by Tractor Supply for life out here. A number of people are convinced they know why the Miami Heat are manure. And the reason the Miami Heat are manure is because of one person only. You know who that is? Ding, 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 ding. That's right. Riles. NBA legend. In fact, some people putting their name on it, a former NBA All-Star. Granted, it was a fluke season, but Jeff Teague. Remember Jeff Teague played for the Atlanta Hawks? Was on the Celtics for a while, bounced around, journeyman guard, but he didn't make an all-star team one time. So Jeff Teague's got some podcast because everyone's got a podcast. No one's listened to him. Jeff Teague has had an appearance on a podcast. I don't even know what podcast it was. I couldn't name it. There's so many of them. So anyway, Jeff Teague said that the Heat have to get rid of Pat Riley. They have to get rid of Pat Riley was the quote. Of course, this got blown up and tossed into the echo chamber. It's like, oh, this guy actually played in the NBA, so he's got some more credibility than some other schmendrick who didn't play in the NBA. So let us discuss the question. Are you surprised at all of the heat that is on Pat Riley and now an NBA, former NBA player, calling for the Miami Heat to dump Pat Riley? So I've got Batman, Sorcerer's Workshop, and Skunk. And we will combine all of these things together, and we are going to make a delicious Mai Tai, which Pat Riley can have sitting on the beach, and maybe he'll kind of sit in that hammock and just kind of look at the palm trees and look at the jet skis out there in the water and just contemplate everything. So my first thought, number one. Let's try that again. Number one. One more time. Number one. We got to work out the kinks there. So now we got it ready to go. So we would be surprised. To answer the question, are we surprised that Riley's getting heat? No. We would actually be surprised if Pat Riley were to be let go. Unless Riley wakes up and says, I just can't do it anymore. I've lost my way. It's not going to be a case where ownership says we got to get rid of Riley. We're gonna get rid of him. He sucks, and that's not going to happen. I mean, the fact that they're serving up poop sandwiches 3 or 4 nights a week in Miami is surprising. And Riley, this is what happens. Riley is considered, because of his age, and he's been around forever, that he's an aging relic of the NBA. He coached the Showtime Lakers, for God's sakes, in the 1980s, and it's been a minute. It's been a minute since then, and when you've been around that long and you're not given the benefit of the doubt, right? It's just the rule of thumb. You're not given the benefit of the doubt. The first sign of leakage, and there is a dog pile, an absolute dog pile, and you're not – it's not acceptable to have a stinker is what I'm trying to say. It's not acceptable for you to have a stinker when you're Pat Riley. He's a gray beard, and that's the way it goes. And Pat Riley literally and figuratively made the Miami Heat a relevant franchise when he left New York and eventually made his way to Miami. The Heat were a laughingstock prior to Riley arriving, and that was a long time ago, and there have been many coaches that have come through there, including Riley himself, who coached that team. But things have been declining. There's no way to spin it any other way. This season, it's just terrible. And there's just a bad vibration from the moment they showed up there. And so you're going to get all the, hey, you're an old fogey and you don't know what you're doing. But it's one of those things. When you look at what Pat Riley's accomplished in Miami, and they're not having a good year at all. They blow. Both those things are true, right? So Riley's been a legend. The team's no good right now. But is this a long-term situation or is this a short-term situation? And it blurs the lines between fact and fiction, right? Is it locked in stone? Is it written in stone that this is the way the Heat are going to be for the foreseeable future? I always thought like Miami is one of those places you're just one off-season move away because you can get almost anybody you want because almost everybody wants to live in Miami if you're playing in the NBA, so you don't really have to worry. It's not like you're sitting there in Indianapolis or Milwaukee where guys are not dying to go play there no matter how much money you throw at them. They just don't want to go there. But Riley is the epitome of the quote from The Dark Knight, the Batman movie there, where you either die a hero or if you live long enough, you become a villain. So for some, he's become a villain. See what the Heat do in the offseason. There'll be the usual round of gossip that, let's see, who's likely to be traded? Big-name players that will be moved this offseason. Well, anything's an option. If the Dallas Mavericks didn't even trade Luka, they just gave him away. It's conceivable that the Milwaukee Bucks or somebody say, well, we'll just give you Giannis. We want you to have Giannis. Here you go. Knock yourself out. You never underestimate that in that business. If the Dallas Mavericks just decided to give away their top franchise player for a bag of beans, then why couldn't that happen again? All right, now, page 2. To the Bay Area, where Steph Curry getting called out by some. Now, he didn't play in the game on Tuesday night. That was a game that the team from Northern California won. The Warriors, without Stephen Curry in the lineup, he did not play, and the Warriors went out and beat the Bucks on Tuesday night. How embarrassing is that for Damian Lillard and the aforementioned Giannis Antetokounmpo? And so the Dubs, they won that game. Congratulations on that. But that's not the story. So there's conflicting reports here on Steph Curry. Now, what are the conflicting reports? You had Golden State coach Steve Kerr, who had said recently that his star guard was, quote, exhaustion for Steph Curry. Now, Steph Curry denied that accusation from his coach. So you've got a he said situation. You got Steve Kerr saying, oh, man, he's tired, Steph Curry. And then you've got Curry saying, that's not true. People are just trying to figure out what's wrong. I didn't play well the other night against Denver in an embarrassing loss for the Warriors. So to answer the he said situation, the arrow on this one, on who we believe is Steph Curry. We talked about Pat Riley and what he did in Miami and all that. Well, Pat Riley spent a lot of time not protecting Jimmy Butler, right? There were stories leaked about Jimmy Butler in the media. Well, Steve Kerr is doing the opposite of what Pat Riley did because he is protecting Steph Curry. He is circling the wagons around Steph Curry. And Steve Kerr is in the Sorcerer's Workshop cooking up a spell. It's got like Dungeons and Dragons. He's got a ring of protection around Steph Curry. But it is beyond a reasonable doubt that Steph Curry is at the point in his career where this becomes the new normal. That even though the coach is running the spin cycle for Steph Curry, Curry is 37. The common denominator on athletes when they get to their late 30s, mid to late 30s, is extreme peaks and valleys. You have your big nights where you look like you used to look, and then you have nights where you're terrible, and you have games where you score 6 or 8 or 10 points, and you're barely there. If you want to see what that's like, look at Paul George, by George, in Philadelphia. A pretty similar situation. All right, now, final point. We head now to Manhattan, a Maller Show follow-up to the barf heard round the basketball world, comedian Tracy Morgan, who rode the vomit comet, one of the great barfs I've ever seen in my life. There's photographic evidence to show you exactly what happened. So Tracy Morgan now has said that food poisoning led to his ride in the first-class seat on the Vomit Comet during the Knickerbockers game the other night with the Miami Heat. So do you believe that was the only thing going on there? So after a minutes-long Maller deliberation, no, I think what we're getting here from Tracy Morgan is a piecemeal explanation. It's a piecemeal explanation. Ergo, it's part of the story, but it's not the whole story. It is more likely than not that, Tracy Morgan ate something that in cahoots with something else set off the nuclear bomb. You know, you combine certain foods together and you have issues. Now, I'm not sure what he was eating. We don't know. I'm obviously not there with him. But as far as I know, there were no mass reports of food poisoning at the Knicks game, so it's conceivable that he ate maybe before the game, but he was spotted eating at the Knicks game, sitting there in the front with all the other celebrities, and it was St. Patrick's Day. And there's people saying, well, he doesn't drink, and maybe he doesn't drink. I don't know. He might not be drinking. But it's more. I've had food poisoning. I've had it multiple times in my life. I've never once needed a wheelchair when I had food poisoning. I haven't. There was a listener, Lance the bus driver from San Francisco, came down here and brought some food and got me very sick. But I made it, with my dysentery, I made it to the bathroom. And I never puked where my nose started bleeding. Like that's like next level. Yeah. But again, there was no other reports of anyone having food poisoning from the food at Madison Square Garden. Didn't Tracy Morgan sue Walmart years ago, and I think he won some money? I remember that. We talked about that story. I vaguely remember that story. But this truly was the skunk at the garden party, the vomit all over the court there. And at least now, I guess Tracy Morgan, the positive is he can now do an infomercial for the Barf-O-Matic. He's now qualified to do the infomercial for the Barf-O-Matic.